We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. What about the Jets' other trade to the Colts for Sauce Gardner, 2 first-round picks? What do you think about that?
Man, this is the one that really caught my attention. At first glance, I said, "Oh man, that's a tremendous upgrade for the Colts. They're all in." I really loved it for the Colts just because I've enjoyed watching them play this year. I really like the way that they're a fun team to watch. And then as I started thinking about it, I really kind of felt like this is a really, really big move that they just made. In that, what you just said is, I believe Daniel Jones is going to win me a championship, because if you just traded away both of the first round picks that you have now this year, obviously they're already 7-2. I don't think that, that it's going to be tough for that to be a good draft pick anyway, especially with the addition of Sauce. So this wasn't going to be a high draft pick anyway. But if you're that sure about Daniel Jones that you're going to give away your next 2 first rounders, one, great for Daniel Jones, right? Somebody is Indiana Jones, not Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes, who we saw 5 turnovers, can have stretches of tremendously great play. To me, 9 games, 7 games, 8 games, that's a stretch. There's nothing consistent about that. And even within that, he had a couple of real stinkers. So I love it for the fan base, because what it's telling them is, hey, we're serious about this. We think we've got a contender here. In actuality, kind of like the Quinnen Williams thing, I'm mortgaging the future, a little bit different, but I'm mortgaging the future for what I believe to be true. And man, that's a big gamble that they just made, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a steep price for Sauce Gardner. And Sauce Gardner is not a dominant corner. He's not Deion Sanders. He's not create the turnovers. He's just solid, man. He's one of the best corners in the game, but 2 first-round picks. And like you said, it's kind of a cosign for Daniel Jones. It's like, hey, we're riding with Daniel Jones. He's our quarterback. And I think that's pretty bold. And I think Chris Ballard is the GM for the Colts, and he's done
Yeah.
this once before, going all in. It's escaping me right now, the trade he made where he also did something very similar to this. But what I'll say is, I think 2 first for Sauce is a little steep, and Sauce just signed that extension, and he's paid, right? He just signed that extension that this offseason, right? The big
Yep.
contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to be there a while. But again, it's you got to applaud him saying, "Hey, I need a cornerback, and I'm going to go out and get the best one." In their mind, maybe Sertan has something to say about that, but I think they overpaid a little bit, and I would not have done that myself. I would have maybe gone a different route, maybe asked the Saints about Alontae Taylor or something like that. Somebody who was not going to cost me a lot. Um, but it's a bold move for sure, and time will tell whether that works out for them. But if you're asking me, would I have given up 2 ones for Sauce? I would have gave up one, and maybe something else. But like you said, that one's going to be basically a 2
Yeah.
this year. So
Yeah.
so maybe it's not terrible. It's to me, when I first saw it, my reaction was, that's a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah. Look, what it's slightly less. I guess if you take it the other side of that, or if you start doing the comps to other trades, it's slightly, like, maybe more than slightly, because Kenny Clark is really good, but it's not much different than the package for Micah Parsons.
no, it's not.
And Micah Parsons is, all due respect to Sauce Gardner, and just look at just positionally, if you value defensive ends versus cornerbacks, there is a steep difference in salary, in compensation, in ability to influence game. So yeah, to say that Micah went for 2 first and Kenny Clark, and Sauce went for 2 first, I agree with you. It's a steep price to pay, and again, I think if you make it to an AFC title game, if you win the division, if you're competitive for the next 2 seasons, no one's gonna look back and say too much given up. But, I think in the immediate, too much for Sauce.